Welcome to the Center Soccer Podcast, number 1, sponsored by the Bluegrass Pizza and Pub, located in downtown Danville at 314 Main Street. Bluegrass Pizza and Pub has the largest craft beer selection in Danville, with many selections hard to find in Kentucky. A 2015 recipient of the TripAdvisor Certificate of Excellence, they have a wide selection of salads, sandwiches, and of course, great pizza selections. And in this guy's opinion, the best wings around. I always order with the sauce on the side. Great stuff. And not to be forgotten, one of the more rare and vintage concert poster collections you'll find anywhere in the U.S. As Center Soccer enters their final week of regular season play, the team is undefeated in the Southern Athletic Association, with one game left versus Swanee, which will take place this Saturday as part of homecoming with a 6:30 kickoff. With the departure of assistant coaches Robbie Tarver to the University of Louisville and Jeremy Carlson recently named as strength and conditioning coach at center, we've welcomed in two new faces in Sam Brooks and Tate Spivey. Sam played at the University of Kentucky and Tate at Transylvania University. Both have proven to be excellent additions to our program and have played a pivotal role in helping Center Soccer get into a position to challenge again for the SAA title. Regardless of Saturday's outcome, the Colonels will host the first round of the SAA tournament next Saturday, October 28th. I hope you can come out if you can be around. In other news, the college prepares to welcome in the most influential glass artist in the world in Lino Tagliapietra, and I know Steve Powell could not be more excited. Lino will be on campus for his 10th visit this October 23rd through the 29th. And in the rankings roundup, Center is again U.S. News Top 50 nationally, a Princeton Review's Top Colleges That Pay You Back. Niche says Center is the best college in Kentucky. Southern Living rates Danville as the 6th best college town in the South. And Forbes is ranking Center number 5, best liberal arts college in the South. Now to the good stuff. Tonight we will meet and catch up with Leonard Thibadeau, who is out in California right now. Leonard seems to me to be the best person to help kick off our first podcast, as he was part of the first team to play soccer here at Center College. All right, Leonard, it's good to catch up with you here.
Jed, I really appreciate you calling, and I think this will be fun. It'll drag out some old memories that I haven't had in many years.
Okay, so tell us who exactly we're talking to here.
Okay, this is Leonard Thibadeau. I was a graduate of Center College, class of 1973. I played on the first Center College soccer team, which was in 1971, and it was kind of just a pickup group of soccer players. John Boardman had, I guess, just come on the scene, maybe transferred in, and he was just talking up soccer, and I had always kind of played soccer as a game. I hadn't played formally in high school, but I loved soccer. And so we just, he got a team together, and we the rest is history.
Do you remember who coached you?
Yeah, it was Andre Brousseau. I think it's Broussard.
Was he just a local person? Was he a teacher? What was his capacity at Center?
I assume he had some relationship to the college, so
Yeah.
But anyway, we had a coach. We needed a coach, and I don't know what the college was, how we were sanctioned, but as a team. But I guess we had to have certain things. We needed a coach, and we needed, I don't know. We didn't have much else.
Do you remember where you practiced and played your games?
Well, sure. We practiced wherever we could practice.
Huh.
Just in fields around the city. I mean, there was no, we didn't play on Center College practice fields. I mean, we might have occasionally, but we just, in the afternoon or something, we'd say, everybody, of course, we didn't have cell phones, so it wasn't like there was no organization of communication, but you say, oh, yeah, we're practicing over on some field, which I'm sure is not there anymore. And so we just, it was just kind of like pickup soccer.
Huh. So, I mean, do you remember, did you have practice gear? What were the uniforms like?
There was was no practice gear. The people who were interested had their own shoes, and just you practice in whatever you felt like. It was very informal.
Did you have uniforms?
Now, we had uniforms for the games. Or at least we had jerseys.
Yeah.
John Boardman had gotten us some jerseys. They were not the Center College colors of gold and white.
It was maroon. You sent me the original jersey here.
Right. Yeah. For some reason, we don't throw anything away, so I did have that maroon and white jersey. And,
where did the maroon come from?
Maroon?
Yeah, I wonder where that color came from for center.
Well, I speculated that John got a deal on maroon, and so that's because we all paid for our own jerseys. The college did not pay for them.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about the team. Are there any favorite teammates? Anything that made them kind of special to you?
Well, when you play as a team, you form bonds. We didn't, there wasn't any recruiting of soccer players and things like that where we, knew each other. We just knew each other around campus.
Yeah.
So, I played in a position which we called fullback at that time.
Uh-huh.
And so, of course, my favorite teammates was the goalie Kenny Kring, and who I was protecting, and I believe Harbert Adams was another fullback, and the halfbacks, John Garner, his name comes to mind. He was very solid in the middle of, the fullback. You like that? Oh,
sure. Nicknames are such a popular thing still with our team. Did anybody get tagged with a funny nickname back then?
I don't recall that at all.
You guys are just all business.
Well, I wouldn't say we were not all business. We were all about having a good time. And, of course, John was more business. He had lived in South America, and so he had grown up playing soccer there. And so he was really good. And, he wanted to have a great team. And some of us were less serious about it. But we wanted to win, and, like anybody playing a game.
Yeah.
So,
seems like John Boardman, he left a real legacy of that. He was always been involved in soccer throughout his entire life.
Right. Yes, it's very sad that John is no longer with us because he was so instrumental in getting that program going.
Yeah.
And obviously it's stuck with the school and is very successful today.
Yeah. Do you remember who your rival was?
We didn't really. It was the first year we didn't have a rival.
Yeah.
It was just everybody, and there was no big rival.
Was there any heartbreaking losses?
I don't recall any.
Yeah. So, do you think you won more than you lost?
We might have. It's funny that I wouldn't remember that, but we were playing for fun and to win, but. I guess our big win that stuck in my mind was we beat UK, the University of Kentucky.
Yeah.
And that was like, whoa, we beat a big school.
Huh. That's fun. Did you make trips? Were there trips for soccer?
Right. Yeah. Well, we went up and we played at UK, and I want to say Bellarmine and around. Oh, yeah. There was one. Do you know the school Asbury?
Yes.
Yeah. We went down, and I think we took a bus down there. It was a night game. That was kind of magical.
Huh. So you played a night game at Asbury.
Right. And at the school they have a big cross up on maybe a water tower. And
yeah.
I guess I hadn't thought about that until just this minute.
Yeah.
But that was kind of like it was getting. See, I think a lot of times we just drove cars to games.
Yeah, but you took a bus to Asbury.
I'm pretty sure we did.
Was it like a yellow school bus? What kind of bus was it?
I would imagine it was something. It was not a Greyhound, I can tell you.
So would you say that was maybe your favorite game? Or do you remember any other games that were very memorable?
I remember one game at Berea, which was fun. Just, I don't know why. I actually, there was an incident, not a bad incident, but I also swam on the center team. They weren't that good at that time, and I could float, so they enlisted me. But we were playing in Berea, and then all of a sudden I recognized one of the Berea players from the swim tournaments or something. And in the middle of the game, I just stopped and I just ran over and hugged him. And so he kind of looked at me like, "What are you doing?" So
yeah.
Anyway.
So, I mean, obviously this is the infancy of the program, but did the students get behind it at all? Was there much support in the beginning?
I would say some, we were pretty ragtag, so we, probably just girlfriends that would tag along, or, just friends.
Yeah.
But not great numbers.
That's something I'm hoping to kind of get out of these podcasts, is maybe learn a little bit more about how the fan group here at Center developed. By the time I got here, it was pretty established in 1990. But I'm going to be a little bit curious to see if I can learn where that all kind of started.
Yeah, well, I need to talk to some of my old teammates and say, hey, what was it really like? Tell me what I've forgotten. So, because everybody remembers something different, and something was important to them.
Yeah,
wasn't important to me, and vice versa.
Yeah. Back to your coach. I mean, was he just a pretty stable guy, or did he ever lose his marbles with you guys? How was he as a coach?
Well, I would say he was good. We were, pretty, I don't want to say, like I said, a ragtag group. So it was probably frustrating to him, just that all these people, from different skill levels. I had never played in high school. I'd always wanted to. I was a wrestler, and that season was the same time as soccer, so I just couldn't do both.
Where did you go to high school, Leonard?
Excuse me?
Where did you go to high school?
I was in. I grew up in Atlanta. Just unincorporated DeKalb County.
Uh-huh.
So, and actually, when we started, the soccer in Georgia was just kind of starting. So, probably when I was a freshman, there wasn't even a team, and we formed a team, and I think my senior year or junior year, we were co-state champions, and so it was a big deal then, and it was a lot of fun, and there was a lot of spirit behind that.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about your time at Center in general. I mean, were there any professors that stood out to you?
Well, I was a psychology major, so I had more contact with those professors. Frederick Brown was, I believe, I'd say one of my favorites. But one of the formative events in psychology was that we had these things called sensitivity groups, or T groups, and where you went in like Friday night and you met with 10 or 20 people, small groups of people, and it was just I don't know that they do that anymore.
I think we could probably use a little bit of that today.
Exactly. Well, where you had a leader that kind of guided you through this very personal thing, which kind of breaks you down and opens you up. And but you went in Friday night, and then say at 10:30 you went home, and then you came back the next morning at 8 and all day, and then maybe you came back on Sunday. And those are very memorable. And I think when you open up like that, it really kind of makes you see other people.
Yes.
In a very different way. When you see them on the street or casually talk to them, you don't realize what they're thinking. And I think that's had a big effect on my life. And I can thank Center College for that, because it was Carl Rogers' philosophy of psychology or something. Huh. But it was a little bit cutting edge, So, and I think center was everybody was always able to think out of the box.
Yes.
And I appreciate that about center.
Yes, always engaged with the process is what I've always learned from center, and certainly the professors as well.
Yeah, great professors.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and then and just the David Hughes was the professor back then, Larry Matheny. Ned Edgington was my English professor who, I credit him with me being able to write a good letter or something like that, which is, it seems like a small thing, but it's like, hey, when you want to get an idea across, you need that skill. And
yes.
I felt like I had a great high school background, but I still remember Ned Edgington.
I actually had a class with Larry Matheny as well. I had several with him.
Right.
And, man, you talk about getting your point across. He was such a great speaker, and the way he taught, it resonated with me. He was one of the best teachers I ever ran across. Larry Matheny was one of a kind.
Yeah, sure.
He taught with such passion.
Yeah. But I also had Don Jansen was kind of an anthropology professor, and we went on field schools. Center had field schools out in the first one was at West Point, Kentucky, right on the Ohio River. And then the next year we were over in New Boston in Indiana, it was like at the end of the road. And field schools are a little bit like tea groups because you're with the same people 24/7. And, for weeks on end, and, things come out, and, with personalities, which usually end up as a very positive thing.
And so it sounds like you were getting out of the classroom. I mean, you were definitely out in the field, so to say, in your learning process.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, well, definitely with those events. But, those are the things that really stuck in my mind,
It's an experience there. I think that's a great way to learn.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, Leonard, it's been great to catch up with you here. As you may or may not know, I'm a big live music guy, so I've got to ask you one more question. What's your favorite band, and tell me the song that you're listening to right now from them?
Well, it's probably an old band, so it's not, I guess I'm not, the current music is not as important to me. I just look back on, what we were listening to then. Of course, the Beatles were, I guess they were just breaking up in the late 60s, early 70s, but they were popular. But, if I have a go-to musician, Joni Mitchell, and especially her Blue album, and I'm not sure when that came out, but that's like, it's forever music. And even my children play it, because I played it, as they were growing up, and they go back to Blue, and they just they know the music. That's neat.
That's neat. Yeah. Well, good music is timeless.
Yes, I think so.
Well, I really appreciate you taking some time out of your day. I know you're out in California here, and I guess you're out there visiting with family. Is that correct?
Actually, my daughter has lived out here for 6 years. She, after college, she came out with a boyfriend, and anyway, she's moving back to Atlanta. And actually, it was very. They're no longer boyfriend girlfriend, but they're still friends. And actually, just a few minutes ago, he came over. Well, she came over. I'm staying with him.
Yeah.
And so she came over to say goodbye, and it was just very poignant. 6 years that they, lived together and were boyfriend girlfriend, but now they're parting. But it was parting on very good terms and very sweet.
That's great. Well, I really do appreciate you taking some time out to catch up with us today.
Yeah, Jeb. Well, we're doing this cross country trip, and my sights are on Danville, Kentucky. I don't know if we'll make it or not, but if we do, I'll try to track you down. At least I'll want to see the new stadium.
Oh, I tell you, it's one of a kind. It's as good of a field as anywhere in the United States right now. We're very fortunate to have what Center has built.
Yeah, well, that's exciting. That sounds like an exciting program, and soccer's what a wonderful sport. So.
Well, when you come back, I'll show you the picture of the very first team, and we have that picture up on the wall in the locker room right now. And if I remember correctly, you're the only one with long hair in the picture.
Well, now everybody had kind of long hair. Mine just happened to be a little bit longer.
All right. Well, Leonard, thank you so much.
All right, Tim. Great to talk to you.
Great to talk with you.
Okay. Bye now.